Well, hey everyone, it is Wednesday. Oh, I am so tired, you guys. So if I seem a little low energy, that is why. I didn't sleep very good. I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning and could not go back to sleep. So I see a nap in the very near future. So I have a few things to share today. Some repeat stuff and some really cool new stuff. I mean, it's all cool, but you know what I mean. So let's get the order out of the way. I had an order to complete, and I finally finished it yesterday. And then I couldn't list it yesterday because the internet went down, about 2 o'clock-ish. And when I went to bed last night, it was after 11, and I still had no internet. Thank goodness when I woke up this morning, I had internet because I was going through some serious withdrawals. Because with my service, it's not just the internet, it's also TV, it's also telephone, it's everything. The only thing worse would have been if the power went out, then I wouldn't have had any water because, you know, we have a well. So it made it for a very long, quiet day. Extremely quiet. The silence was like deafening. Anyhow, so the order was 1 corn on the cob, and this goes to one of the ladies that ordered a dozen, and she also wanted 2 pickle keychains. So the corn on the cob, they're easy to make. And the pattern designer is Kid Unique Crochet on Etsy. And I haven't made any to go to market because I've made so many for orders that I just haven't wanted to make corn. But they're so easy. And they are cute. I mean, come on. Cute. The pickle keychain is just something that I freehanded, and they're pretty quick too. So 2 pickle keychains with a piece of fluff that I can't get a hold of. Speaking of fluff, so not last night, but the night before, I go walking into my little office area, and I see this thing on the floor, and I'm like, is that yarn fluff or is that a spider? I mean, it was just the way it was. So Jenna's boyfriend was here, and I hollered for him, and I'm like, is that yarn fluff or a spider? And he's like, well, I'm not about to feel it and find out. And he steps on it. It was a spider. Oh, it had like really thick, hairy legs. I have no idea what kind it was, but I am so glad I did not reach down and try and pick that up because that would have freaked me out big time. I mean, big time. So to go with this order, my one and only sewing item this week is this bag. It turned out so pretty. I have it folded. It opens at the bottom there. So I lined it with the fusible fleece to give it some nice structure, and hopefully she likes it because she told me to just pick whichever fabric I wanted to. And yeah, so we got this finished yesterday. In all that silence that was surrounding me, it was so quiet, so very quiet. So that is my order, that now that I have internet back, I can get the listing set up for her. So let's start with Sunday. we did the video Sunday, and we did the market recap, and I had written down like what my best sellers were, and then I never told you guys. And now I don't know what I did with the papers. But the best seller was keychains for Friday, and it was keychains, Myrtle the turtle, and there was something else and I don't remember. So didn't do me any good to write it down. All right, so Sunday after we did that, I decided I want to make a stitch, and I had mentioned that I ran out of the color, and this is the color. I mean, I'm not out, but that is not enough to do one. This is like not even close. I could get part of it done, but not even close. But this is the color, and it's the color that's like seared into my brain now. And stitch isn't going to look like stitch unless I make it with this color. And this is denim. But I had a Bernat blanket, and I made one, and it's a darker blue, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. And because it was going to be in Bernat, I felt like it's going to need bigger eyes than what I have in the little black eyes for the 18 millimeter. So I gave it bigger eyes this time, and I'm not sure how I feel about that either. But I made a stitch, and he's very dark blue. And I'm not sure that I like the eyes, but it is what it is. So when I said on the video that I was out of blue, quite a few of you guys told me that Premier was running a special. You get the free shipping if you order, like, I think it was $45 or $49 instead of their normal, I think it's $89. So I went over and placed an order. And I saw that they had this other yarn on sale for $4 a skein. I think it's Parfait Speckles. It's a 7 weight. And I added some to my cart. And then I go to check out and I see how much my cart is. So I took all of that out of my cart. And I still haven't looked at the tie-dye chenille brights. So I took that out of my cart and said, nope, I'm just getting what I need. And then I'm sitting there watching some videos on Monday, and a couple people were showing things that they made with that speckle, and I'm like, oh God, I gotta have some. So I went and checked, and it was still on sale, lucky me, and it was still the free shipping, lucky me again. So I ordered some, and then I ordered some solids in the 7 weight to go along with it. I don't know where I'm gonna put it, but it's ordered, and one day will be shipped. But anyhow, so Stitch is from Fennec Toys, plural, UA, and you can find that shop on Etsy. And with this particular pattern, you also get, what do you get with this? Lilo. But I haven't made Lilo yet. She has those funny shaped leaves on her little dress. And I'd have to see if I can find die cuts that I could cut that out. So we have a very dark blue stitch. And then I was like, you know what? I don't feel like following a pattern. I just want to play. I want it to be fun and not work. So even though I have a lot of work to do, I wanted to play. So I did. And I came up with this Minecraft bee. And I think I did pretty good at keeping his square shape. Of course, this is the Bernat Mystical. Don't ask me the colors. The yellow, the grayish black, I think is Cinder. I wish I would have used a solid black instead of that one, but I mean, it still looks good. So then I had to figure out, how am I going to lightning bolt the antenna? So I had to use, let me do that, Parfait Chunky to get it small enough. The others were just like too big. And then looking at pictures, this was like the closest I could get for the wings. I mean, because they kind of look lacy, but you know, it's got to have some structure. And then we just cut out some rectangles out of some felt. The squares are a lot easier to cut than a circle, because I could just use my little chopper, the guillotine cutter thing that I have. So I think I did pretty good with that. And this was totally free-handed. And I do like that I was able to keep them kind of square. So, one Minecraft bee, just playing. Oh, yep, and then he has his little legs down here. And, yeah, so I thought he turned out pretty cool. So then playtime was over, and it was bedtime, so I went to bed. And then Monday comes along, and I decided, well, let me make some more mini scrump. So I did. So I have 1 and 2 and 3. Just 3 of them. Just because I sold 1 doesn't mean I'm going to sell these. But it sold so fast on Friday's market. I was like, well, let me go with 3 this time. So 3 little mini scrumps. And this is Crochet Grove's pattern. And you can find this one on Ravelry. It is for free. She also has a bigger scrump. She has the Lilo, and she has Angel, I think it is, and Stitch. But those require the felt-shaped dies. So, and these are pretty quick. So we did those. So this was work. That was for work. And I had, before the market Friday, I had started to do another side duck, and I didn't finish it. So I finished it up because it was sitting there. And I used, instead of the oatmeal, I used the caramel for his little feet and his bill. And didn't forget the round in his head. So he turned out much better, I think. And this is from, the pattern is from Beck Made Studio. These are really cute. Now, I did sell 2 of the Pokemon that I made on Saturday. And Psyduck was not one of them. It was the Bulbasaur and Togepi. So, those I have to remake. I don't have to, but I want to. So, we've almost gone through just about everything. So, cool stuff is coming up. So, yesterday, unbelievable. Well, yesterday was Tuesday. Monday night, I worked on a new pattern. And yesterday, I went out and took pictures of it and sent it over to the designer. One of my favorite designers. Shannon from Snugglebeans Crochet. And she's coming out with this big series of the splooting, I think that's how you say it, splooting animals. So I could pick from 5, and then she has more that are going to come out after the summer. So Heather had already picked one. Sue, I knew what one she would pick. So I picked from the other 3. And I did the deer. And it's just so cute. Just kind of lays there. He is made out of Parfait Chunky in the color of acorn, chocolate, white, and I think this is ballet pink in his ears. So, look at that little tail. I probably stuffed him a little firmer because it says to stuff lightly, but I'm a firm stuffer, so probably light for me is normal for you guys. But anyways, he comes out very tiny in Parfait Chunky. This is low sew. You sew the head and you sew the ears to the head. That is it. Now, it does call for 30 millimeter safety eyes. But my tight little stitches, my tight squatty little stitches, I went with a 22 millimeter eye. The 30s just swallowed up this little guy's head, and I couldn't make myself do it. So we did 22s, and I think they turned out perfect. And this is a 15 millimeter safety nose. It is fairly easy to do. And she did use the back post single crochet in this pattern. So that was, I mean, it just makes the, like the little feet so much better. It's like, forget that back loop on the feet. The back post single crochet, I mean, it's just so much better. So she has this. Now, I won't tell you what Heather and Sue made or are planning to make. But these patterns, she's shooting for June 11th for a release date. And I will be making the ones that Heather and Sue are going to make because I like both of those. But I didn't want to share them before they got to share their makes. So, yesterday the internet went down. And I had stopped. What did I make? Actually, I don't think I made anything yesterday morning. I just got the pictures of the deer. And then I switched over to sewing so I can get the bag made to finish up that order. And then the internet went down. Well, I had one other pattern open. And I wasn't sure because when I open a PDF file on my computer, it comes up with the Microsoft thing. It's not like the Adobe reader. So I wasn't sure if I could access a pattern offline, but I had one open, and it happened to be one of Shannon's. So, you know, I had to make that, right? So we did 2 of Shannon's patterns. This one I did out of the Chenille Brights, and it's a lot bigger than the Parfait Chunky. So it's another splooting critter. And this one is a dinosaur. It's kind of hard to hold these so that you can see how they do. But these legs go, I have them forward. They go back like this. And then he's got his little paws. So I did this out of Caribbean. That's the same color that I use on Perry the Platypus. And then I was like, what color do I want to use with it? Originally, I was thinking I would use the orange, like Perry. And then I was like, nah, I don't want to. I thought about yellow. And I was like, nah, that's too bright. So Mary suggested the rust because This is kind of like a turquoise color. And brown goes good with turquoise, but so does orange. So with the rust, it's like the best of both worlds. Now this one, I did put the 30 millimeter eyes on because using the brights, the head came out big enough. And again, it's very low sew. This time there's no ears to sew, but it's the same amount of parts. You sew the head to the body, and then you sew the two little spike things to the body. Super easy and just cute as can be. And I just so happen to not have had any dinosaurs made. But again, this is a pattern by Snugglebeans Crochet. And she's shooting for a release date of June 11th. So just so you can see the size difference. Here's the deer. Let's see. The deer. And then the dinosaur. And that's just Parfait Chunky versus Chenille Brights. And both of them I did yarn under. So there's not the size difference of over versus under. So I do like the brights, the chenille brights, the size that came out. So still, I did that. Still no internet. Driving me crazy. The silence was just driving me absolutely nuts. So I kept bugging Mary. And I couldn't even send her a picture. I couldn't text her. It was just, nothing worked. Nothing at all. So I'm like, well, what am I going to make? I don't want to make another dinosaur. Because I have other things I need to be working on. And I do have some time. I'm not in a rush. So I said, I think I can remember the head part on the itty bitty snake. I think. So I tried. And if it's not right, I got real close. I mean, it's been a little bit, but when I made them, I made a whole lot in a row. Well, I only did one. And then I was getting tired, so I went to bed. But this is the pink quartz in the Mystical. That's one of the colors that I know for sure sold out. I need to do the yellow. I know that for sure sold out. And then I'd have to look at the other ones because we sold, the last 3 markets, we've sold quite a few snakes. So, to replenish before they're out. We don't want the chicken egg situation to happen again. So one snake. And also yesterday, I was waiting for a pattern release, and the person said the 27th, which that was yesterday, but they didn't specify a time. So before the internet crashed, I kept going over to Etsy and checking and going to their Ravelry and checking, and nothing. Then the internet crashed, and then I couldn't check, and then I had to wait to get the pattern. And don't you know, my internet was up this morning, and I went and bought that pattern, and I already made a plushie. And I have a second one on my hook, but I'm getting tired, so I wanted to get the video done so that I can lay down and take a nap. All these messages are popping on my screen. I probably should put it on Do Not Disturb, and that wouldn't happen. But, I mean, they're just Etsy notifications, and it's not because somebody's asking me a question or I had a sale or anything. It's just Etsy sending out their junk emails. So anyhow, I bought the pattern this morning, and it's on sale. And honestly, I had never heard of these until a couple people mentioned it in the comment section on the last video. And I was like, what is that? So I had to look it up. And apparently, this particular original toy not necessarily the crochet version, is very sought after and people really like it and very hard to get. So I was like, So I started doing a search to see if I could find a pattern. And I came across a few. Most of them were for acrylic. And I'm like, okay, that means it'll be absolutely huge. I mean, I have no problem using blanket yarn with an acrylic pattern. Just sometimes it can be a lot bigger than you think. And then I was on Instagram and I saw Plushico Patterns is going to be releasing what I'm looking for on the 27th. I was planning on that. I was waiting. I kept checking. And then my internet crashed. What do you do? What do you do? So anyways, I bought the pattern this morning. And I made one before I came on here to do the video. And I'm very tired. And if it doesn't look quite right, that is why. The second one is going to be much better because it is on my hook, but I'm going to wait and take a nap and then I'll mess with it later. But anyways, so here it comes. There's an ear. It's another ear. There it is. It's a Labubu. I don't know, but they're so darn cute. Looking at it now, I could see some things that I need to adjust, but I mean, it's too late for this one, but adjust it on the next one. But I think I did pretty good for the first try. It's like when I did the ears, I was like, this isn't going to work. How's this going to look like the picture looks? I was really questioning it. Trust the process because it's really cool. And that's one thing I like about new patterns, because I swear when I do new patterns, whether it's from a person I bought a pattern from before or it's someone that's brand new to me, I feel like I always learn something new. This was really cool how the ears were done. And I'm like, oh, is that going to be a game changer on ears that you need the two colors in? Big time game changer on that. So that was a nice thing. Everything else was pretty much straightforward. Now she does have you sew the arms on, which they can totally be crocheted in. So the ears to the head and the head to the body. So it has little toes, if you can see those. She shows you felt eyes or a sleepy eye. And my next one I'm going to do sleepy eye because it's cute too. I just like the big eyes better. And I used my little die cut machine and cut the ovals out. And then I snipped off the corners of, the edge to do the little highlight. Because I didn't have one small enough to get a round circle. So, yeah. That's my Labubu. And you'll have to wait to see what color I picked for the next one. But I am doing, like I said, I'm going to do the sleepy eye on it. Did I say who this was by? It is Plushico Patterns on Etsy. I freehanded the bee and the pickles. Plushico stitches Fennec Toys UA. Psyduck is Beck Made Studio. The corn is Kid Unique Crochet. The splooting deer and dino is Snugglebean Crochet, and it'll be released by June 11th if everything goes well. The snake was Saucy Puffin Crafts, and the mini scrump is Crochet Grove on Ravelry, and it's a free pattern. So that, my friends. That's what I managed to get done. I thought I did pretty good. See, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 and a half, because I had to finish this one. 12 and a half, 3 days, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them are good sized. The rest are small. Of course, 3 of them are for the custom order. And then I sewed the bag. And I'm exhausted. So I'm going to go. And we will see you Friday night at 7 o'clock for the live. And yeah, I'm going to go take a nap.